Dhamo Lokan Sapalam Stream Shandi Muhur Akrandayeshyataha Bhavishyatastava Bhadrav Abhadre Jataradhamo Lokan Sapalam Stream Shandi Muhur Akrandayeshyataha Bhavishyatastava Bhadrav Abhadre Jataradhamo Lokan Sapalam Stream Shandi Muhur Akrandayishyataha. Word to word translation. Bhavishyataha will take birth. Tava, your. Abhadrav, two contemptuous sons. Abhadre, oh unlucky one. Jatara, Adhamo, born of a condemned womb. Lokan, all planets. Sapalan, with their rulers. Treen, three. Chandi, hearty one. Muhu, constantly. Akrandayishyataha, will cause lamentation. O haughty one, you will have two contemptuous sons born of your condemned womb. Unlucky women, they will cause constant lamentation to all the three worlds. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Contemptuous sons are born of the condemned womb of their mother. In Bhagavad Gita 1.40, it is said, when there is deliberate negligence of the regulative principles of religious life, the women as a class become polluted. And as a result, there are unwanted children. This is especially true for boys. If the mother is not good, there cannot be good sons. The learned Kashyapa could foresee the character of the sons who would be born of the condemned womb of Diti. The womb was condemned because of the mothers being too sexually inclined and thus transgressing all the laws and injunctions of the scriptures. In a society where such women are predominant, one should not expect good children. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavati Paschatya Desatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm very sorry. Still there is audio problem from my end.
No, Mataji, we can hear you. One devotee can't.
Oh, okay. You can hear, right? Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mukham karoti vachalam pangullangayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. So from almost 1.5 months, we are seeing that the Ditis, uncontrollable desire.
Sivan, try joining by your cell phone, because when you join, no?
Yes.
Can you hear now?
Because of the uncontrollable desires, Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas are again and again helping us to warn us, to protect us from these kinds of uncontrollable desires. Because as Indra has a powerful weapon, Vajrayudha, or as more powerful, I can say, more powerful than the Brahmastra, this sex desire is much, much powerful. It is like a cancer. It will multiply, and cause us to our own death or fall down even when we are in the so much elevated state, even in the spiritual life. So we should not take any chance. And we saw a historical evidence of Maharaj Pandu. He has a curse that it is not safe for his life if he intercourse with anyone. But still, due to the uncontrollable desire, even though knowing the consequences, that moment, which when he surrendered to his senses, uncontrollable senses, he has to leave his body. And in the same way, here it is mentioned that it is very, very important to be controlled for a mother, especially because if a mother has, it is the consequences are same for both mother or father, woman or men, or anybody, wife or husband. It is not safe at all. That's why Vaishnavas are so glorious that in the yesterday's class, Smeshadas Prabhuji mentioned that by chanting the holy names only, we can conquer this desire. By practicing devotional life only, we can conquer this desire. So that's why Vaishnavas are so glorious in all the planetary systems, because they have that power of controlling this, a much, much powerful weapon. And when we saw in the history, Ravana, he was by birth, he is considered as a Brahmana. Why? Because he has a father, biological father, who is a Brahmana. The Varna is Brahmana. But because his mother is a Rakshasi, a demoniac natured woman, the Ravana, though he is born of a biological father who is a Brahmana, he adopted the qualities of a Rakshasa. That's why it is mentioned clearly that the mother should be very, very good in character, in principles. Then that will impact, especially if he has a son. According to the scriptures, mother's qualities will be inherited to a son, and father's qualities will be inherited to a daughter. So especially that's why it is emphasized that if a if a woman has a powerful son, and if he has demonic qualities, it is not good for the whole society and whole the world at all. That's why we repeatedly heard that how important is the Garbhadana Samskara, how important to be educating the youth, especially before, because much of the consequences are being faced because of the ignorance. It is, even though they are familiar with the knowledge, they are uncontrolled. That's a different scenario. But 90% of these situations will happen because of the ignorance of all these facts. So it is very important to educate, to preach to the youth before they get married, even after they get married, before they conceive the child. It is very, very important to educate about all these facts. And in the ninth canto, Urvasi was telling same warning Pururava. Pururava is having uncontrollable sex desires towards the Urvasi, because Urvasi is much beautiful. And the minute Pururava saw the Urvasi, he was like a madman behind her. Even all the demigods tried to divert her mind with another woman. They provided a woman with almost same features. It is very difficult to distinguish between that woman and Urvasi. But still, in the last minute, Pururava understood that she is not Urvasi, and again he did tapasya to acquire Urvasi. Then Urvasi appeared and said that, are you mad? Why are you so much hankering for my association? In the purport of that verse, in the 9th canto 14 chapter 36 verse, very wonderfully Prabhupada has given the Chanakya Pandita how he was speaking about the woman. Mata yasya gruhenasti bharya cha priyavadini aranyam tena gantavyam yataranyam tata gruham. So if anyone has uncontrollable senses and having a desires like the fox, so much passionate, for a husband, it is better to leave to the forest. Leaving all the family, all the women, everything, better to go to the forest. And also, it is not exception for the Krishna conscious devotees also. So, and in that verse, it is considered that woman is like the fox. It is very difficult because it was told by a woman, Urvashi to Pururava. It is difficult, but it is the fact, it is mentioned that because women's attraction, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that even a wooden form, any form, in the sister form, in the mother form, in the wife form, any form of woman, we have to stay far from. If we are serious in our devotional path, it is very, very important. That's why in our Varnashrama dharmas, there are 4 ashramas. Brahmacharya means before marriage itself, the student should be given complete knowledge about all these, especially sex life, because that is the one most trapping in this material world. That is the most powerful weapon of Maya. So it is very necessary to be educated in the when the student is in the Brahmacharya stage, and later when he by that education, when he enters into the Grihastha, he will be very controlled. Even the wife, beautiful wife, is next to him, so he will understand the purpose of life. And after Grihastha, it is mandatory to go at the age of 50 to go to the Vanaprastha. Vanaprastha means they will be both completely engaged in the, they'll be more serious about the perfection of life, to go back to Godhead and to dedicatedly concentrate on the spiritual life, even though they are together. And at the end, sannyasa. See, sannyasa life is not only possible if from the beginning, if he is a brahmachari. It's not like that. Even after grihastha, even after vanaprastha, sannyasa is allowed. So such a most beautiful designing. So it is very conducive for our perfection. So in the it is mandatory, but nowadays it is very difficult to even imagine up to the stage of Vanaprastha, what to talk about the sannyasa after Grihastha. So what we can do is, we cannot go against our practical nature, because even in the forest there is no peace nowadays. So the best suggested way is to be at home along with the wife itself, keep Krishna in the center, and regularly read Srimad Bhagavatam and chant the glories of Krishna and chant the holy names. This is a powerful weapon, more than the Maya's weapon. That's for sure, because Acharyas, through Srimad Bhagavatam, they are holding us tightly, they are embracing us tightly, not to be trapped by the Maya. It is, they are giving a kavacha, armor, as a protection from this Maya. That much powerful is Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is clearly shown as an example by Mother Devahuti. See, the similar, when we compare, Diti is also in the Grihastha and Devahuti is also in the Grihastha. So how the Diti life is started when she saw the other wives, she had a deep rooted desire. How much means she was not looking for the auspicious moment, she was not looking for the instruction of her good husband, nothing like that. Whereas Devahuti, even though she has desires, it is obvious, a married woman, newly married woman, and she doesn't have kids yet, Devahuti also, but she was tolerantly hiding and keeping all her desires in her heart. Why? Because she wants to first win over the heart of the husband by serving him nicely, by pleasing him nicely. Here, Diti also served nicely Kashyapa, want to please Kashyapa. The problem is, Kashyapa is also not strong as Kartam Muni. Though he was also practicing, it is mentioned that in the previous verses, he was described as the henpecked husband. But Kartam Muni, even though he was not looking very graceful, he's not like that beautiful, Mother Devahuti was serving him so nicely. At one point of time, after many years, Kardamuni was so much pleased and asked for the wish, any desires, to express her desires. Then when Mother Devahuti expressed her desires in the same way, Kardamuni took for a different place, which is very pleasant, which is very beautiful, and looked for a good moment. And he expanded himself into 9 forms to satisfy the desires of Mother Devahuti. It's not like Mother Devahuti doesn't have desire and it is wrong. No, she has so much of desire that Kardamuni has to expand himself into 9 forms. So here I want to explain one formula. What is the wrong between the Diti's desire and Devahuti's desire? Here Devahuti is blessed with the Sakshat, the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, whereas Diti is has to, it's like a curse for her that he has to be the mother of 2 demons. What is the difference means? See, we are all, even in the male body or female body, we are all considered as the Prakriti. And there is one Purusha, that is Krishna or Vishnu. So when a woman is having a desire to enjoy, he is trying to be against the original nature and wants to be Purusha. And in the same way, when the husband is also having the desire for sense gratification, that means he is also trying to become Purusha. When Purusha and Purusha unites, definitely there is a possibility of Varna Sankara population. The formula doesn't work out. And always a devotee child, if we want to get a devotee child, there should be association of Prakriti and Purusha only. Then you may ask, see Mataji, usually here Kardam Muni also a Prakriti only and Devahuti also Prakriti only, because they are just only Vishnu is the Purusha, Krishna is the Purusha. How the formula worked out? Because in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said that for the purpose of a Krishna conscious progeny, if you intercourse, I am that sex. So when the wife is desiring for a Krishna conscious child, what will happen is the Supreme Lord will enter into the semen of that Prakriti, and thus the Prakriti man will become Purusha. So the formula will work out. Prakriti and Purusha will emanate, will produce a devotee child or Sakshat incarnation itself. That's what happened in the case of Karta Muni and Devhuti, but not in the case of Diti and Kashyapa. So it is very, very important to follow in the footsteps of like Mother Devahuti. It is recommended, if anyone has a kids who are not married, to read the third canto again and again, to sit with your kids and read and make them familiar how important it is for a girl or boy to follow all these principles and try to have a Krishna conscious child. Who knows that maybe Krishna himself will come in the womb of your kid. So how auspicious it is if we follow all this path. That's what ignorance is not an excuse. We have to follow the consequences. So if we give them knowledge, maybe they will be aware and be strict in following this path. And otherwise, because of the innumerable Varnasankara population, it is difficult. It is clearly mentioned that in those days there were only one Diti and two demons, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu. But nowadays, in every home, all are like Ditis only. That's why we are having so much of unwanted population. But you may ask, Mataji, even we are practicing Krishna consciousness, our kids are not able to control their desires. They are not able to. Yes, that's very true. Because of the association of the nowadays society, easily they are getting diverted. It is very difficult even we are practicing at home Krishna consciousness. But again and again, if we make them also read these scriptures or hear at least and give them devotee association, it is the real gift that we are giving to them. It's not like giving them so-called materialistic education or properties or make them settle. It is not only that. I said in my previous class also, if we help them now, they will help us to go back to Godhead, because we are totally dependent on our surroundings. In the last minute, we don't know whether we will go to coma. We don't know how much conscious we will be. We don't know how much we are able to chant ourselves and how much we can focus on our mind on lotus feet of Krishna. So in many ways, we are dependent on our family members. So if we give them the knowledge how important that we need to think of Krishna in our last moment, in those times, they will help us at least to take to the dhams, in our last moments, to Mayapur Dham or Vrindavan Dham, or in our home itself. They will create the Vrindavan atmosphere by dhoon, by reading scriptures to us. So they will help us. If we do not give that seriousness to them, they don't worry about, they don't believe in all these also. They will just ignore the facts. So again and again, we have to tell them so lovingly, caringly the importance of these scriptures and make them that Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. However, even if we sit and read or by discussion or somehow or other, we have to spend a quite some time, some 15 minutes or something, if we can discuss with them. Whenever there is a conversation with them, general conversation also, bringing the examples, I met so and so devotee, it is very nice, they're following like this, I'm also thinking how it is going to be. So all this will be very helpful. So, and again, when we saw similar situations, there are so many in our history, when because of the Diti's impatience, and she wants to she was very eager to get conceived. That's why he was forcing Kashyap Muni. And there are 7 more wives to the Kashyapa. Among those other than Diti, Aditi, there are more wives for Kashyap Muni. And there are 2 more wives like Vinata and Kadru. Vinata and Kadru were also asking for the Kashyap Muni to have kids. Because Kashyapa was a Prajapati, he was his duty is to increase the progeny in this world, so that in that way to help the living entities and to help the Brahmaji. So when he asked Vinata, what is your desire? Vinata said that I want to have 1,000 sons. And Kadru, when he asked Kadru, Kadru said that I want to have 2 sons, which are much stronger than the Vinata's sons. Then he said that, okay, fine. But when they are having kids, all 1,000 kids are becoming snakes. They hatched very soon. But Kadru's sons, 2 sons, they were not hatching the eggs. Actually, he gave the eggs. The eggs were not hatching. Then because of the, rude words of Vinata, Kadru got disappointed. Am I really not taking care of my eggs? That's why they are not hatching. What is happening? Let me break 1 egg. Because when Kashyapa was giving those 2 eggs to Kadru, he said that don't be impatient. Wait until the result happens. But Kadru was so impatient and he broke one of the eggs and saw. But when she saw the boy is so beautiful, his body, his face, the arms, he's very chubby. But when she saw the down part of that boy, it is still in the flesh form. Because of the impatience of the Kadru, then immediately the boy cursed the mother. You impatient lady, how could you do that? You ruined my life. See, because of your impatience, I have to live my whole life without the legs, just in the flesh form only. Then he cursed, and Kadru was requesting him to take back the curse. Then he said that if you are at least patient till the other egg hatches itself, then the other kid will save you from this curse. Then like that he cursed, and he pacified the mother Kadru and went to the sun god, and he became the charioteer of the Vivashwan sun god. So it is very, very important to develop the patience also. So even though when we are knowledgeable, because of this impatience, even though we know all the consequences, because of the impatience, because of satisfy the desire immediately, we will do mistakes. So it is very, very important to develop all the Vaishnava qualities and to be controlled by practicing this sadhana and by reading the scriptures. If you have any questions, you can ask. Hare Krishna, Madhupati Prabhuji. I think there are no questions.
Okay, Hari Bol. Thank you very much, Madhupati.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I kind of missed the confusion. Two devotees were giving class today in the beginning. Amritananda Prabhu, it was next Tuesday.
Yeah, Prabhu, sorry. Just got confused.
That's all right. That's okay. Already. Thank you very much. We'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. And we like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Narsingo, Jai Narsingo, Jai Jai Narsingo, Praladesha, Jai Padma, Puravida Mahavishnu, Jalantam, Sarvatramukam, Narsingam, Vishnam Bhadram, Nityam, Nityam Namamiham. Narsingh Bhagwan ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai. Let us offer our humble obeisances to all the Samar Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataru vaisya kripa sindhu bhavasya
Patitanam Pavane
Vaishnavyo namo namaha Vaishnavinda ki
Jai.
Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki Jai
Jai.
Gaur Premanande
Hari Hari Hari.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Kalindi.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare